The Hustle Share podcast is sponsored by One CFO, the Philippines' leading fractional CFO services provider for startups, scale-ups, and SMEs. Experience the power of tech-enabled, efficient, affordable, and expert-led fractional CFO services. Let One CFO handle your finances so you can focus on growing your business. Book your free CFO consultation today.
This episode of Hustle Share is brought to you by PLDT Enterprise, your partner that remains committed to your success. If you're loving stories of growth and grit, don't miss ROI to Success, a series powered by PLDT Enterprise that dives into real digital transformation journeys of Filipino businesses, from MSMEs to industry giants. Listen to the latest episodes and learn how PLDT Enterprise can power your business too. Visit pldtenterprise.com to explore solutions built for your success.
I think there's a good and bad. I can see the opportunities. And the most important is creating your team. There is no perfect team. And always, di ba, sinasabi, hire the right person. Lagi,
parang andali
Walang ganun eh. Walang ganun. But you know what? Every person have different, they came from a different culture.
Correct.
They raised from a different family.
Correct.
So I think we have to manage. I don't know, parang swerte lang yata. Or we just know how to be flexible in doing things.
Welcome to Hustle Share, the podcast that features the daily grinds of unique hustlers around the world to show not our differences, but that our hustles are very much alike. Now here's your host, Ronster Baetiong.
Welcome to the latest episode of the Hustle Share podcast. I'm super duper excited, okay? Because again, super big fan of how tools are made. I'm not a dad yet, but I have a dad bod. Okay? Always have a dad bod now. And especially during the pandemic, I've been a DIYer.
Okay.
Wala, we can't hire a taga-ayos outside.
Yes,
so I became a DIYer. And every single time, all I need are the best tools. And now I have the whole, a good slate, at least 2 to 3 pa. Pag pangit, wala, sira agad. That's why you have to buy the best tools, per se. But again, a lot of this is becoming the trend now. We see it, content and everything else. And we have a very important founder here and in the show, and super duper happy to have you. And you are the founder and CEO of Powerhouse Tools, Mr. Charles C. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. So again, super duper excited to have you. Big fan of what you guys are doing, and you guys are doing the dirty work, literally.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. A bit of a back context. The reason why I'm a big fan, not a big. Yes, I'm a big tool. Okay, but big fan of what tools are. On the side, I have a pressure washing service company.
Okay.
And those things break every time.
Yeah, that's right.
Every fucking time. So it's like, it's so hard. And without the right tools, patay kami. It wouldn't even work.
Yeah. Okay.
So super duper excited. But before I get carried away, I need to ask you the $1 million question. Charles, what's your hustle?
So I'm Charles, and I am the CEO of Hapsui Hardware and Powerhouse Tools.
Love it. Powerhouse Tools and Hapsui Hardware. And what's super interesting, Charles, is because again, I've had so many Chinoys, okay, in this and in this podcast, and I've seen how they were raised, sometimes by force, on how they're able to help their families. But I'm very, very curious about what that is. But before I get carried away, I need you to buckle up real quick, because we're gonna have to go all the way back to Ilaya. Okay, dun banda, okay? Because that's the place that I only know. Because we're gonna have to ride the Hustle Share Time Machine. Okay, and we're all the way back. So that's what I'm very, very curious of. So again, it says here that you are Binondo kid. Ayan.
Yes.
So I'm very, very curious because the origin story of the Hapsui hardware, correct? Walk me through that, and then I want to understand first your first exposure to hustling.
Okay.
Were you forced to also work in the hardware, even if wala kang choice? What was that like?
When I was young, no, as you have mentioned, we are in Binondo. My great grandfather started the business in Binondo.
Wow.
So that was in the 1946, 46 pa yun.
After
40
the
plus,
war.
yeah, after the war.
Wow.
Yeah, so that time, the city has to be rebuilt. So
Correct.
that is why dun nag-start na that my great grandfather started selling things that are para ma-build na ang mga nasira, no.
Galing.
So that was the time when, and then after that, fast forward, when my grandfather and my father is doing the business already, and usually ang Chinoy naman lagi in Binondo, nasa taas ang bahay, nasa baba ang hardware.
Correct.
So that is the typical setup that we had also.
Yeah.
So when I was young, it started when I was in elementary.
Okay.
Every time pag summer na, they will call me, come down, you help us, you're not doing anything. So that is where it started, when I don't really have that interest that time, because when you are young, you just want to keep on playing.
I don't want to do this.
Yes. So that time, what they did is that they gave me pag whole day 50 pesos. Pag half day 25 pesos lang. Yeah. So that is where it started. So mas interesting kasi may pera. Yeah, but when wala, yan. So those were, but it's really good that at my early young days pa, they are already training me ma-expose na sa business.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm very, very curious because, again, entrepreneurship is taught not by saying but by doing.
That's true.
You probably just don't realize it back then.
Yes.
But you're basically being ingrained with the necessary tools. What were those learnings or lifelong learnings from generation to generation that you remember being passed down to you when you were younger, that you're carrying it on today when you're the one running the business now?
The most important that they have taught me from my grandfather up to my father is that we have to be being trusted by our suppliers, by our customers.
Yeah.
Because when you broke that trust, definitely, the industry is just small.
Correct.
So suppliers, especially international suppliers, they will know what's happening in the market. So once na nasira ka na, wala na. And same as with the customer. If they know that you are not selling a good quality product, sabi nila, shortcut yung supplier na yan. Don't go there na. So that is something that you have to really balance. Like, you want to make a little bit of profit and at the same time good quality. And of course, you should be trusted by all of this customer and
totally makes
suppliers.
sense. And that's very, very important because especially in the construction business, right? Every single tool, pun intended, is very important. Walang shortcut. You're right. And anything that you do a shortcut, there are lives that are going to be affected because we're building structures and houses and buildings and whatnot. That's very important. But I'm very curious. So let's go back to your story. Diba? You were forced to do this. I'm very curious about the skills you developed early. So, okay, merong monetary reward per se, but what are the first skills that you remember doing while you're being trained to technically take over down?
That time, I don't really understand why my dad and my grandfather was telling me, you go to the warehouse, you help them to pick the orders. Okay. Yung pick, you have the sales order and then you pick all the items for the customer. So they did not ask me to pack it naman. Okay. So they just asked us to pick. Okay. So sabi ko, I don't really understand. Why should I do that? Meron namang mga tao dyan. Why me? Okay. And then, indirectly, they are already teaching me, like, you should know your product. These are the things that are sellable in the market. So, yun yung idea nila. Not really to ask you to have the hard labor.
Love it. Yeah, no, totally understand. And now that deep knowledge, pretty sure even when your eyes are closed, you know what's good and what's not in a environment where the hardware is. But I'm very curious now. Let's talk about your studies. So obviously, you were also raised in the hardware. Yeah, that's where the education, informal education, comes through. But I'm curious about what that was like when you started studying, and what did you take up that probably added more wrinkles to what you're being taught in the ground.
When I was about to go to university, I want to study business. But that time, the course that I am looking at, wala namang normal na business because I studied in College of St. Benilde.
Okay.
So they don't have really like business management.
Wala pa nga.
So that time, they are just offering computer studies or export management. Sabi ko, kabaliktaran ng import-export. So, I went to export management.
Got it. Amazing. So, when you did export, what did the things you learned there probably helped you understand? Because technically, when you do export, yes, that's outbound. Pero whoever's receiving it, import yun sa kanila.
That's right.
So, it's the other way around. What did that give you in terms of your understanding of how this works? Because eventually, that will tie down to power tools and
usually it's just the terms, like the Incoterms, what you call that, yung para mga shipping terms, yung mga ganon, same lang naman in the international space, diba? And at the same time, aside from having the export management as my major, there are a lot of subjects like accounting, finance, marketing.
Got it.
So yun yung mas na natutunan ko sa college.
Got it. Now, while you were there, what did you do? Any side hustle, or were you still being forced to help sa hardware and whatnot? And how did that evolve as you say had a wider point of view? Kasi dati hindi mo gets, right? Like, why am I even doing this? This is my summer.
That's right.
But as you go along, that things start to piece together. The reason I ask this is because I have a lot of Chinoy classmates that took up entrepreneurship in UST. So yan, mga galing Uno, galing Sakya, galing Shanghai. So I totally get it, right? Half of my classmates are Chinoy. So I totally get how their point of view. And it's super profound because I remember taking up entrepreneurship. My classmates, before they even took up entrepreneurship, they knew that by their choice or they're not, whether they have a choice or not, they're going to eventually run a business. Me, I am the first generation.
Okay.
So wala, I don't know what that means. So I had to learn. I'm the 0 to 1 guy.
On your own.
Ang hirap, right? But then, meron ng foundation eh. But how did that develop as you're studying? Did you do any other side hustle or start new business per se?
When I was in my college days, I am doing buy and sell. Buy and sell. I'm not really helping the business that time. Kasi I'm still studying, and then most of my time I'm in school.
Correct.
So, but on the side, I saw some friends like buying this, buy and sell. That time, uso pa yung mga nagbebenta ng cellphone, Nokia pa that time. So, yung mga yon. And then there are a lot of things like mga wireless telephone na parang may long range. Yung mga ganun. There are a lot of things. As long as anything na ma-offer sa akin, I'll offer it also to my friends. So, anything under the sun. Any products, as long as I'm interested, and sometimes car parts, this and that. So yun yung mga naging, I think those days, it developed me for my skills of like dealing with people. Doon ako mas doon ko natutunan na how to deal with people.
For sure. And entrepreneurship is a game of people, persuasion.
Yes.
Right? And super duper interesting because I want to understand, because I remember a lot of guys, the reason why they never take that shot is nauna yung hiya.
That's right.
Ayoko na, nakakahiya, bibentahan ko yung kaklase ko, blah, 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 blah. How did you remember getting over that hiya? Is it because sanay ka na in the hardware before, or you just developed this across the world? But what was that hump you had to get over?
I think ako kasi ever since kasi parang medyo outgoing na ako eh.
Yeah.
So, hindi ako masyadong nahihiya eh. So that is why that time it's very natural for me to like do the buy and sell. At saka hindi ako nahihiya na parang, uy, nagbebenta ka ng mga gamit. So I'm not really shy in selling. In fact, motivation is kailangan ko because that time ang allowance maliit lang eh. Diba? So that time I also want to have my own savings.
Correct.
Aside from having allowance. Allowance ubos lagi sa school yun.
Yeah, especially pag napasarap pa yung kain mo, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so after this, what I want to understand is that you also went to Shanghai. To
Yes.
Jiaotong. So I want to
Yes.
understand what was that like and what did you learn in that from that perspective, that experience naman?
That time when there are a lot of things now, diba, the market is changing.
Right.
There are a lot of products from China coming in. So majorities, like probably 40% of our products are China products.
Yep.
So that time I said, okay, I told my dad, I want to go to China to learn more about, of course, the culture. Second is the language. I want to learn the language so that when the time comes when I will be dealing with suppliers, I can speak in Mandarin fluently. So
okay.
yun. I stayed there for a year, and yeah, I took the one of the best school in China, which is Shanghai Jiaotong. That is one of the top school in China.
That's amazing. But I want to know from your perspective, because the early 2000s and the 2010s, probably even now, that's where China was making leaps and leaps and leaps. I mean, all the way to 2008, the Olympics was also happening in Beijing. What was that like? What was the vibe in China during that time? Because you can feel it in the air for sure. You can see it on the day-to-day lives of people that really propelled them. And what did you learn there being exposed to that type of environment?
Chinese people are very, sobrang masipag sila.
Yes.
And, at the same time, they are very efficient. That time, I was there 2005.
Okay.
When you order via phone call, you order a ticket, plane ticket.
Okay.
After 30 minutes, the-deliver na niya sa'yo.
No way.
That time, there's no internet
Wala pa.
online booking.
Yeah.
That time, the ticket is still the paper with how many
Manual.
booklets, diba?
Yeah,
Parang
yeah.
ganun yung So that time, 30 minutes, they will deliver at your
Galing.
doorstep. So that time, you can see that they are really eager in doing their service. China is service-oriented industry.
Got it.
So, ang bilis talaga nila. That was 2005.
But now with AI and everything else, naku po.
So fast. Yes.
Super
Yeah.
crazy. I want to now understand. So obviously you're a graduate by this time and you are able to understand Shanghai Jiaotong, right? When did it dawn na, okay, it's time to really be more involved in the family business? When did that happen and what was the first foray back? Kasi ito na, the challenge every time is that when it's a multi-generational company, medyo may resistance of the old guard and whatnot. So I've gotten a chance to experience this firsthand a bit in the company that acquired my second startup,
Okay.
the limbs of Sterling Paper Group.
Okay.
Ayan, si chairman, so rest in peace,
Yes.
Sir Henry
Yeah.
Lim Bon Leong, the former
Yes.
federation chairman
Chinese
before
chamber,
si
president.
Former. Before nakalimutan ko yung pangalan. Basta yung si Happy guy.
Si Dr. Cecilia Pedro.
siya.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Ayun, but he was a former chairman, right?
Yes, that's right.
So I've seen how detail-oriented they ran it, but with multi-generations. But I also see the friction in between of what that is. And at the end of the day, there's a totem pole of how that is. What was that like for you when you
Okay.
started coming in?
There is what we call generational gap.
Yeah.
So that is really a not so easy experience as well.
Okay.
Though you cannot blame the older generation because they have built the system and the company. Napakahirap naman for a new generation coming in and then you will change all the systems.
Correct.
It's so hard for them to swallow that.
Mm-mm.
So that time, what I did is when I came back from China, I know that I will be there Kasi I am the eldest among our generation.
Yeah.
And my dad
Yeah.
is the eldest as well
Mm.
in his generation.
Okay.
So there is no choice but it's me. Diba? And I know it already.
Mm.
So I don't also have the chance of working outside because I know that they also need help.
Got it.
For us to grow the business
Yeah.
or to
Mhm.
So that time it's not so easy experience kasi there are a lot of programs that you want to implement,
Right.
but of course 20 na pa-approve mo, isa lang ang ma-approve, 'di ba?
Yeah.
So but you don't understand why is this happening.
Mhm.
But someone, a consultant just told me, you know what? The most important from the previous generation and the current generation is that communication and the trust. Kasi kung walang trust yung previous generation sa'yo, even how good you are, they will not trust you with all the things that you have to do. So that is what we have what I did is that I got the trust of my father. No, I made sure that there is wala namang sinasabing perfect or
Of
no
course.
failure, 'di ba?
Uh-huh.
But it's a calculated risk.
Mm.
So that is the thing that I did, was to get his trust. And then, God's grace naman na
Slowly.
slowly, I've been working for the company for almost 20 years. So I somehow I think I got the
No,
trust.
you did a
already.
terrific job. And there's a lot of persistence in there. And I'm very, very curious about how you guys actually pass that along from generation to the generation. But let's take our first break. And when we come back, we will now talk about how Hapsui was able to really pass that along from generation to generation, because there's a number that everybody talks about na.
Okay.
If they don't make past it,
Mhm.
patay, right?
Yes.
But of course, we will have to discuss that. And of course, even talk about how you did Powerhouse Tools and why the franchising model
Mhm.
per se. Well, let's talk about that more after the break. Hey hustlers, are you a busy entrepreneur juggling a ton of tasks while trying to keep your finances in check? Thinking of raising money from investors or lenders but have no idea how to start? Well, you are not alone. Managing business finances is tough. But don't worry, I got something for you. Introducing One CFO, the leading fractional CFO service and technology provider for SMEs, startups, and scale-ups in the Philippines. Whether you need help with financial management, fundraising strategy, or scaling up operations, their team of top-tier CFOs and their game-changing CFO tech platform have got you covered. And they're legit because I've heard about them from a lot of YC startups actually that got founded in the Philippines, because they've helped a ton of VC-backed startups, scale-ups, and some of the best SMEs in the country reach new heights. One CFO is your strategic financial partner, providing the insights, guidance, and the tools you need to make smarter decisions and drive growth. Plus, they offer personalized support tailored to what your business needs, no matter the size. And what's the best part? It won't break the bank. One CFO services are affordable and accessible to businesses of all sizes. So if you're ready to level up your business and finances, what are you waiting for? Schedule a free CFO consultation with One CFO. Visit onecfoph.co today. That's onecfoph.co today to get your free CFO consultation. You felt it as a customer. You're ready to buy, the checkout glitches, and you walk away. Now flip it. That's a sale your business just lost. Now, PayMongo is the financial operating system for Filipino businesses, cards, QRPH, and over-the-counter, one platform, every way Filipinos pay. Go live in hours, not weeks, get paid faster, reconcile in one dashboard, and grow on the same rails. Stop losing sales to bad checkout. Start free at paymongo.com. And we're back in the break. We are still with Charles C. Then told us the amazing upbringing. And I can't imagine, man, what the pressure is like growing up in a situation like that. Now, okay, I gotta step up by hook or by crook.
Mhm.
Kahit may iba kang gustong gawin, wala, you have to step up. But I'm very, very curious because there's a study, right? It says that businesses, especially family businesses, after 3 generations, typically the 3rd generation squanders it.
That's
I'm
right.
curious how you guys were, you're 4th gen now, right? How you're able to go from the founder, which is your great-grandpa, grandpa, who literally did it right after the war, to how it is then. What are the things you made sure that succession is done properly without the crazy things in between?
You know, in the Chinese community, you know, it's a small Chinese community
Correct.
lang in the Philippines. So that is why the motivation that I had before is hindi ko pwede mapahiya yung aking father at saka yung grandfather ko.
Correct.
And at the same time, you know, the brand of Hapsui Hardware, somehow sa industry nakilala naman siya. And I don't want that to just vanish because administration namin and then now nawala yun.
Yun
That
nga.
is something that I cannot grasp also.
Mm.
So that is why, that is my motivation. Like, hindi pwede to and we have to grow it.
Got it.
So,
No, but what are the lessons? Because I've seen the taukes. Ayan, tama ba? Tawag
Yeah,
na taukes.
tama.
Ayan.
Oo.
So, I'm also Chinese pero super diluted. Nothing was passed along to me. Even my complexion is super Filipino, super diluted.
Di bale,
Okay,
I'll teach
yeah.
you some words later.
Okay, sure. There, that's all I know. Okay, but I want to understand because several taukes and how they were done. They have this thing called constitution, family constitutions. Na okay, I don't even know. I've never seen one, but they're like they really stick by it from generation to generation of how, say assets, succession, and all those things. Or if it's not a constitution, what are the real hard rules, or if there were or hard things that we need to pass along para smooth yung transition. And some of it might not make sense, some of it will, but I'm curious if there was something like that in your family.
Yeah, you know, when the family gets bigger,
Mm.
no, you really have to get a family constitution. In fact, in our generation, we just crafted our family constitution.
Okay.
Yeah, we started crafting our constitution 3 years ago.
Wow.
When it was that time ng pandemic,
Got
we started doing that.
Mm.
And then, you know, the goal of having a family constitution is that growing the business at the same time, hindi madadilute yung business at mawala.
Correct.
Like you can see a lot of businesses like, you know, they the top tycoons in the Philippines, the Gokong Ways, the Aboitises,
Yep.
they have a family constitution, and even Ayala.
Yeah.
Imagine hundreds of years in the industry, and then now it's still growing.
Yeah.
So that is also the goal for us. Like, you know, our descendants also
Tama.
will have their share as well. Na hindi naman sila magugutom in the future, and they have their share as well.
Mm.
So that is the motivation.
Love it. And you said it right. The first I heard of this was from Miss Liza Gokongwei. What, second gen yata.
I
Second
think,
gen.
yeah, second gen. Yeah,
Or they have this
Gokong Ways.
constitution that they talk
Mm.
like, what is a constitution? The only constitution I know as a middle class is the constitution of the Philippines. Okay, but no, it totally makes sense. And I think the main component of that is equity. Because what if you inherit equity in a company
Mhm.
and you don't want it, the last thing you want to do is sell it to a second in the secondary market,
Yes.
and there's an outsider all of a sudden, you lose control of the business and it's no longer yours. I think there's a clause there sometimes na parang the family has the right of first refusal to buy that equity kung sino man gusto magbenta, pero it stays within the family first.
That is right.
Yeah.
That is also part of what we have done is that chairman, who is my dad,
Yeah.
he said that whenever a descendant wants to sell the share, it goes back to the company. It doesn't go out because, you know, that's why the word is called family business. It's
Got it.
because it stays in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to find out because again, I come from the startup world where say it doesn't make sense kaya yung mga traditional startup a traditional businessman will look at startup like, how is that a business when in the first 5 years of your business you're not making any money but we're grow.
Mhm.
I want to understand the financial mindset
Mhm.
of growing a hardware kasi yun nga, fast moving. Right? It's not easy because it's not like you're the only hardware as well there. And then you need repeat customers in terms of suki.
That's right.
I want to understand the mindset of making sure that you roll over these profits. Well, syempre, suki manghihingi ng discount na hindi, pero still sizable, so you can still make that pay. Walk me through how that is. And the reason why I want to know is because a lot of startup founders right now, especially tech startup founders, don't have that that fundamentals. Na me, I had to learn this 3-4 years ago, and I credit him. Who taught me was our former CFO and co-founder, Mike Tan, who's Chinoy.
Okay.
We went from literally running this like a traditional Silicon Valley startup, and if we didn't pivot, patay na kami dati pa.
Okay.
And then he goes, no, patakbuhin natin tong parang Chinoy.
Okay.
We were line by line, cash flow is king.
Yes, cash
And
is
that's how
king.
we got it out.
Oh.
So
nice.
what's that like in a hardware for Hapsui?
In Binondo, alam mo naman, when you go to Binondo, alam mo, mura dyan eh.
Yep.
Diba? So, that time, my father and my grandfather, they're saying, kasi we're an importer and distributor na. So, wholesale.
Okay.
So, kahit maliit ang kita, hindi ganun kalaki, pero maraming customer. Volume. Oo, maraming customer. So, maraming customer at saka volume.
Got it.
So, that is also what we are doing now because there is a saying na your customer is your brother or sister. It means that you don't want to fool them. Diba? So, people nowadays, they are smart.
Yeah.
And they know pag niloloko mo sila, syempre, 'di ba? We don't want that. And as I've said, we've been in the industry for 80 years and we don't want that to happen. So that is why what we do is like small profit pero maramihan.
Galing. All right. Now I'm very, very curious. So obviously Hapsui, and if I was probably in your shoes, I'd just chill. I would stay, don't mess it up. Make sure the family legacy keeps on. But there's a founder in you, which I love, because you took it to another level. Because, okay, you have legacy to protect, but in order for you to upgrade the legacy, you cannot just be stagnant, because the world always is ever changing.
That's right.
And you now came up with starting Powerhouse Tools. Walk me through how Powerhouse Tools technically was born out of the Hapsui ecosystem, and how did that evolve into using a franchising model? I've never heard of this before and very unique. What was that like?
Okay, so that time when before we started this business, it's really hard because we've been a distributor of different multinational brands. So we are not the exclusive.
Okay.
So price war is really there.
Yes.
So you're fighting against
Margin war.
Margin patay talaga dyan, 'di ba? So that time that's why we tried to think of how to pivot and not to be just being beholden by someone else or that. So and at the same time we can pass on the business to others. So that's why we thought of having our own brand. But that time, hindi pa uso yung having your own brand eh. It's usually, we are heavily reliant on the multinational brands.
Right.
Diba? Like we started the brand 2008 eh. So that time, wala masyadong mga private labels, what you call that. Yung ganyan. So that time, we started importing products from China. And we are branding it under Powerhouse brand. But we are one of the one of the biggest brands in the Philippines, US brands yon. So that is also nakatulong din that we also learn what are the good things that they have done and what are the not so good things that they have done, so that we can apply it in our own products. And that time there are a lot of limitations from different brands. Kasi with these brands, they are limited to these product categories lang. Diba? Like for example, these tools, wala naman silang ilaw, wala silang electrical products. Kami, ang dami kong parang nasasayangan ako sa market. We have the customer, we have the sales channels, pero we are not distributing this kind of
correct. You're limited to what the roster.
Yes, that's right. So that time, in 2008, we still don't have power tools. We don't have generators.
Tama.
We don't have lightings, electrical products, yung mga ganyan. So that time, sabi ko, sayang talaga yung market. And that time, iilan lang yung power tool brands in the market.
For sure. Yeah. And then that's the opportunity that you saw.
Yes, that's right. So that time, we keep on innovating these products. And then God's grace, it's growing.
No, and again, Chinoy na Chinoy. Super humble. I know so many of you, and this is why I find it super, super odd. A lot of the people that I see, yung pinaka-maiingay, pinaka-mayabang pa, yun yung parang, dude, you ain't done shit. What are you talking about, right? But you guys, when you know what you're talking about, yan, sasabihin pa, chamba. Kakachamba. Like, man, come on now. I know you guys.
Sinuwerte lang.
Swerte lang. No, you guys are doing an amazing job. And the fact that you saw it very early and you were able to now come up with a really solid brand across the board. And the most important thing is you own the unit economics. Now, you know the manufacturing cost.
Yes.
You know, you wala nang whatever hahati sa margin mo.
Yes.
It's all yours per se. And you even get to dictate what type of products you're gonna create. So I'm curious about two things. How did you market it? I mean, you have the distribution network now.
We already have the
Correct.
sales
But
channel.
when did the franchising model come about and why that?
Okay, so that time I'll go back 2008. We are still building our product mix.
Okay.
So I think that is the hardest thing that you will do in your brand.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have those products, how can you sell, diba?
Tama.
And what differentiates you from other brands? So that time it took us a long time to really develop this. And I can say that when it comes to research and development, that is where we focus. Probably 90% of our focus is on
R&D.
R&D. Oh, like this type of product, what is the wattage, and the pricing is very important. Gusto natin dito
Tama.
good quality pero pinakamura.
Correct.
So that is something that we are we have been focusing, and at the same time I think ang pinaka strength namin is designing of the packaging and the product. Yeah, because hindi ka naman pwede mag-offer ng baduy, 'di ba? And I can say hindi naman natural din sa mga companies or sa mga tao na when it comes to designing, you have the eye for beauty.
Tama.
So that is also very important, and that is what we are offering now to our customers: a good design, a nice design, good quality,
and mura, right?
and mura.
Quality. Yeah.
So now
Sulit.
sulit. Oo. So now going to franchising, we are in pandemic.
Okay.
Nakita namin there's a rise of this DIYs,
Tama.
and at
Me.
the same yeah. So ang daming kaya ang dami sa mga Facebook, 'di ba? Ang daming mga
Right.
groups na nabuo doon. So there is one na what struck us is that I think we can already we can fill up 100 square meter or 150 square meter. We can fill up a store na products lang natin.
Galing.
So that time said, and there are a lot of restaurants that are closing down.
Right.
Kasi from a physical brick and mortar restaurant na naging online store na lang sila.
Right.
'Di ba? Delivery.
Right.
And daming na ganun. So ang dami ring mga restaurants that closed down. So sabi namin, why not, since our products are not perishable, we open a store and then we offer it as franchising para yung mga entrepreneurs na nakita natin in pandemic, marami doon na. That's why when we pitch our franchising, we are pandemic proof. Hindi kami nasisira, and at the same time essential.
Right. And what I love about what you guys did by making it a franchise, because anybody can like, I have a tool. But what people don't understand is just because you already have the inventory, doesn't mean that it will come in with the systems
Yes.
and the ability to sell it.
That's right.
Dude, what they're technically paying for is what you guys have already built in 4 generations of excellence, because that's part of the package that they sell that they're getting from Powerhouse Tools. It's also the Hapsui DNA. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the right approach here? Because without that, even if you have the SKU or the tools themselves, it won't sell itself.
That's right. You know what? When you go around, you can see mga hardware stores, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Yung mga turo-turo, there's a shelf, turo-turo ka lang, 'di ba?
Yeah.
And nowadays people want to really have the freedom to touch, to feel, and to roam around.
Correct.
'Di ba? So that time when we saw the market, like I think sabi na namin, we can I think we can grow this business, and we will just innovate the industry. We are not going to change the industry, but we have to innovate it. You can see that there are a lot of DIY stores in the market. But sabi namin, lagi yan, nasa mall lang yan eh. 'Di ba? Why not let's bring it to the corner hardware store, and at the same time, the presyo is just the same at par dun sa mga tindahan na yon. So, I think that kind of model will really help the industry to grow faster.
No, for sure. And you get the same turo-turo, say, pricing, but you've put so much effort on the packaging, the R&D.
Yes.
You don't feel like, what? This is turo, this mas maganda pa to dun sa turo, pero yung presyo, hindi nagkakalayo, right?
That's true.
That's amazing.
In fact, sometimes pantay kasi we have the SRP eh.
Yes.
The suggested retail pricing eh. So our customers are following that. So imagine, same price pero magkatabi. Syempre, mas gusto mo pumasok
dito na ako. Ang ganda.
sa maayos, di ba? Right. So that is why, you know what, Ron, in fact, there are also a lot of our customers or mga hardware store, di ba, old generation.
Yeah.
And then now, yung mga anak pumapasok na, yung kanina nga, you're saying na, how to work with the older generation. There's a generational gap.
Correct.
So what they're doing, the older generation is still managing their own business, and then now they're franchising. Yung anak naman, yung the other door naman, ginagawa nila yung store naman natin para walang away. And at the same time, you know what? It's a complementing product, and it's not competing with each other. So there are also some hardware store na mga plywood, cemento, bakal. We don't have that because we are focused on a certain segment, which is the power tool, the generators. Itong mga to, yung mga focus na kayang i-organize. Kasi how will you organize a cement, right? So yun yung mga pinasok naming mga segment, yung kaya mong ayusin, scalable, franchisable, yan yung ano.
Well, I'm very curious. Of course, not all SKUs are rated equal, but in the power tools roster, for you to go all in, that means it's really doing well. What are the ones that talagang super in demand, and what are those SKUs, I guess, that people don't know na hindi nyo pa alam, pero ito, puputok to. For example, like for me, man, with my pressure washing business, it was so hard for me to source out petrol powered pressure washers.
Okay.
Apparently, so I did my own research. I also did the pressure washing for at least the first 10 jobs. Yung pressure washer na electric, majority of the time, okay, it's good enough, but it's underpowered. So if you're trying to, say, clean a 50 square meter garage, if you had the right powered petrol powered pressure washer, you're probably gonna just get it done in an hour maximum. Ganun kabilis.
Yes.
Kasi tanggal ka, kasi talaga agad yung ano eh. Kasi malakas yung but if you went electric, man, it's gonna take you 8 hours.
Yeah.
And my hands, I tried it. I couldn't, my grip was lost for a good 3. I couldn't eat.
Kasi nakagana ka the whole time.
No, I can't. Hindi na. I can't eat. It's so weird. So, I'm curious what those tools are that are really, really like your bread and butter, and what are the upcoming ones that the public should know?
Okay, so to answer your question about yung mga power, yung mga ganyan, no? That is why, we have different segments for a certain category. Like for example, for pressure washer, we have this industrial type. Like yung sinasabi mo.
Okay, bibili na ako sa'yo.
Yeah,
okay.
That's good. Okay, so you have that kind, like, the gasoline powered.
Yes.
And, baka that's why it's very important for those who are selling the tools, like, so that's why yung mga franchisees namin, we really train them for this type of product. Pang bahay-bahay lang to, hindi to pwede pang business. Kaya yung gagamitin mo siya for 30 minutes, 1 hour, pero if you're going to use that for the next 8 hours because that is your business, this is not the product for you. So we have this category, like for example, for welding machines, we have is spot ka lang or may nasira lang, you have to repair that.
Right.
And we also have the product like for shipbuilding. We have the product for contractor that you're going to do a warehouse, the I-beam na type na warehouse. So yun, meron din kami mga ganon.
Galing.
Oh, so we have this that is what I'm saying earlier, that in previous wala pa ang powerhouse, we cannot choose what type of categories we have and what type of qualities that we have.
Yeah, last question before we take our last break. Of all these R&D and innovation that you've created, what are you most proud of na ginawa niya na, that's like I'm pretty sure you've done a lot. But there's one that talagang sticks out that like you're super proud of among everything.
I think there are two things that I can think about right now. Number one is creating a good team.
Love it.
Okay, so I think we cannot achieve where we are right now if we don't have good teams that are helping us on this. Number two, I think we have changed the landscape of hardware by introducing franchising.
Galing nga eh. Galing.
Kasi, usually when you hear of franchising, it's always food.
Yeah.
Diba? So that is why we keep on telling people like, kasi sometimes ang food is fad lang eh.
Right.
Diba? Unlike this, it's continuous. And in the Philippines, we are always a developing country. So that is why, business of hardware and tools is always there. It will be always there. Hindi mawawala yan.
That's amazing. All right, let's take our last break. And when we come back, we will now talk about the evolution of Charles as a CEO.
Okay.
And we'll talk about leadership. And again, what's the immediate future and the next things that people should look up for in Powerhouse Tools. And of course, the main engine, Hapsui per se. Let's talk about that more after the break. Okay, guys, quick break to thank our sponsor, PLDT Enterprise. We're all about growth here, and if you're serious about scaling your business, you need the right partner. PLDT Enterprise is committed to your success, offering fixed, wireless, and ICT solutions for businesses of every size. So if you're ready to transform, check out pldtenterprise.com. That's pldtenterprise.com to explore their digital solutions for your business today. You spend half your week confirming payments, checking your phone, cross-referencing bank transfers, updating spreadsheets. That's not a running business. That's doing the work of a payment system that doesn't exist yet. PayMongo is a financial operating system Filipino businesses run on. Cards, QRPH, over-the-counter, every payment lands in your dashboard the moment it clears. No more checking apps, no more chasing transfers. The reconciliation closes itself. And when you're ready, the same platform handles payouts, wallet, and capital. Stop being your own payment system. Start running on PayMongo. Sign up free at www.paymongo.com. And we're back from the break. We are still with Charles Seed and told us the amazing evolution of Powerhouse Tools. I love it because, again, you didn't settle. A lot of people, when they come into a situation, they get too scared. No, sige, ito lang ako. I'll just bring it. And then I think that's the beginning and the end. That's how you fuck it up.
That's
right. Because if you don't take risk, and business is about taking risks, calculated risks. If you're able to do that, then you can level up. There's a 50-50 chance you're probably gonna fail.
True.
But if you get nothing, if magsa-status quo ka lang. And I've seen so many good businesses decline because they were scared.
Yes.
And I love that you found another niche and how that's done. But before we talk about the future of Powerhouse Tools, I want to understand your evolution as a leader. So, me too, at this version of me, ano na to, whenever I look back, like how stupid I was. What was I doing, right? I'm curious, what were those most difficult hurdles you had to go through, Charles? Na in hindsight you had to go through, or mistakes you had to go through to become a better leader?
That time, tama ka, what you're saying. So when you look back, sabi mo, bakit ko ginagawa yun, diba? So that time when, everything is like, the previous generation was telling us, you have to do it on your own, everything. Dapat masipag ka. But nowadays, I think there are what we call, we have to be smarter than work harder, diba? Diba? So that is something that we are also applying right now. Kasi dati, masipag, pero you can see the growth is so slow. Pero ngayon, parang we can see that, when you delegate things with the right people, with the right structure as well, so I think working smart and working with people around you with a right and correct structure, I think it will help to do things faster.
No, okay. I love it. But dealing also with stress. This is one of my biggest transformative stuff because People always say, business, lagi lang may problema. Yeah, that's what you signed up for, unfortunately. This is a firefighting exercise every single time. I want to understand how you evolved with dealing with the fighting fires. Kasi people always see the finished product. Wow, ang galing. But for every single, for 10, or for every one milestone na nakita mo, there's 10 times we cried.
Hardship. Yeah, true. That's true.
How did you evolve in dealing with those hardships, and what are the most profound siguro instances that you remember that really built you to become a better leader?
I think yun nga, there are a lot of what you've said is that, for every milestone, probably there are like 30 hardship or talagang
Super.
iyak.
Yeah.
Yung mga ganyan, diba?
Correct.
Ang hirap talaga. Like sleepless nights.
Or lugi.
Yes, true. That's true. So, before, I think the hardest thing that I have encountered is dealing with hard suppliers.
Ooh.
Because if you are dealing with hard suppliers and if you are heavily reliant on them,
Tama.
it's so hard, lalo na, and you're talking of like international suppliers. So, you cannot control and different culture. Wala sila yung parang you will say na parang pakisama. There's no pakisama. Dapat medyo may konti kang hiya. Walang ganon, diba? Kasi mga walang hiya. Yeah, pero yan yung mga things that we have encountered. That's why Powerhouse have evolved because of these situations. And I can say for every situation, hard situation that we had, there's a good lesson that we learned from it. Though I do agree that there are more hardships than what you call
wins.
mga wins,
Yeah.
diba? Mahirap talaga. Every day is a challenge. You never know. Later, may tatawag, may ganitong problema.
Yeah.
And like in a more complex company, you have the more people you have, the more stressful that you handle because you cannot. Every person that we have is very important.
Yeah.
And one person that will have a problem is a problem already.
Yeah.
Diba? Problema na agad yan. Diba? So that is why, that's why creating structure is very important. Though it's easy to say na creating structure, but not everyone can do it.
No, for sure.
So hard.
No, and people think that just because may structure ka, it works.
Yes.
In that structure, you can actually feel that there's friction, that it doesn't end. It constantly evolves.
There's no one size fits all.
No,
diba?
for sure. And you're also at the mercy dun sa pyesa mo. So pyesa, again, pun intended, your pyesa is your people. So for example, say this worked for 5 years. All of a sudden, Gen Zs come in, and that's not how they work.
That's right.
Right? Like, what the hell? But you have to tweak it to make it work.
That's
Because
right.
every generation of people will come through. And even the way you evolve as a leader and communicate as a leader to change. I'm curious how you did that. Because for me, dude, man, I'm my way of leadership, and I mellowed down so much over the years. Siguro tumatanda na rin talaga tayo. Okay, I'm nearing my back pain has been more persistent. But the way I also communicate, how I get disappointed is different. How I celebrate was different. So I'll give you an example. Before, pag there's something na sablay, dude, I take it. I bring it home and it fucking ruins my day. And then pag high naman, probably comes with age. Now I cringe of what the hell I was saying before. Flex ako sa social media. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing? And then I look at you guys. So I emulate the Chinoy way. I have nothing but respect. The ones that are the most silent, yung nagsasabi mo, chamba lang, sunerte lang. If you look at how they're really doing, sila talaga yung making strides. Did you have that evolution as well of how you dealt with, say, ups and downs? Because nakakabaliw siya if lagi mo siyang iuwi per se. And what was that like for you?
Yeah, that's true, no? Sasabi mo nga, like, for example, like the less, yung sa ating journey as entrepreneurs, konti yung wins dyan.
Correct.
So, when I think they are saying that yung mga Gen Zs ngayon, they have a different mindset, this and that. But we are so blessed that we have a good team.
Galing.
to handle also this kind of this type of people,
Mm.
'di ba? Kasi if I myself will be the one to handle it, I don't really also understand how to manage the Gen Zs. But the good thing is that we have a good team also to manage these kinds of new team, no. And at the same time, I am also telling our team, no, na Gen Zs also have a different mindset, which also will help us to grow faster. So yun, I think there's a good and bad. I can see the opportunities. And the most important is creating your team. There is no perfect team.
Wala.
And always, di ba, sinasabi, hire the right person. Lagi,
Parang ang
that's
dali
it. Walang ganun eh. Walang ganun. But you know
No.
what? Every person have they came from a different culture.
Correct.
They raised from a different family.
Correct.
So I think we have to manage. I don't know, parang swerte lang yata swerte yata, or
Yeah.
we just know how to be flexible in
Yes.
doing things.
And also mapping out. One thing I learned, bro, is I learned how to map out your most of the time when you hire someone, it's never just a one trick pony. Meaning, merong 2 or 3 skills yan na magaling. And it should compensate for other people's weaknesses. And if you're able to do that, and the culture fit in how they work, yung background nila, marespeto ba to, mayabang ba to, ganon. It balances with how the team works. Then magic happens. But I've also had na akala mo ang galing sa interview, pagdating,
Wala.
nge. Okay. Nge. So,
True.
man. So, yun, that's what I really, one thing I credit for, because before it was all me, swerte rin ako na I was able to get a good HR
Yes.
who can literally fix this. Yeah. Because you're gonna make mistakes every time.
I totally agree, no? Dati, when way back, no, ang thinking ko, HR, hire and fire. Diba? Yun lang sila diba?
Yeah.
Hire ka, tapos, hindi siya okay, paalisin mo na. But you know what? It's more complex than what you have thought of.
Correct.
We are very, very, very blessed to have a very good HR as well. I always say this, no, with a good HR, definitely your business will, the right people. And now what we are practicing now, what we call that right people at the right seat. It's called RPRS.
I love it.
So yan, right person at the right seat. So we are trying to practice that.
Okay.
Though it's not perfect, but we are trying our best to do it.
Okay. Curious question. So obviously the chain doesn't stop. So you're 4th gen, you're the ahya. Okay, there you go. But how are you now involving the younger ones within your family? Because again, this is a team sport. And the best team that you'll have is your family members.
Yeah.
How are you involving the younger generation to also be the next you and help you with the business grow? And again, these are the people that you can trust. What does that look like?
I think it's very important that the leadership that they will somehow look up to you. The things that you bring into the table and how your mindset to grow the business. I think that is the most important is because being a leader, hindi ka pwedeng sabihin nila, ba naman to? Parang wala namang alam to. Parang ganyan, di ba? So that is also something that is also a challenge for me. So, what's new on the table? Anong pwede kong madala ulit? What will be the value that I can bring to the company?
Got it.
So, what's new? It's always what's new.
I love it. And again, you've already seen that. And with Powerhouse Tools, constantly evolving. You could have, again, just stayed with Hapsui. Let it and just be not a risk taker. But I love it. Very excited for your family and their descendants.
Thank you.
After this. But before I let you go, Charles, what's next for Hapsui and Powerhouse Tools? I know there's a lot more plans, but invite people over about what's next in Powerhouse Tools and Hapsui.
Okay, so as I've said, Powerhouse is offering franchising. You can check our Facebook, our YouTube. You can see our programs there, and I want to grow our franchising to the whole Philippines.
Mm.
And in fact, we are also considering going outside.
Oh,
Yeah, overseas.
Wow.
You know, we have to show the world that, you know,
Yes.
Filipino companies can also do that. Not
Mhm.
only them, but we can also go outside the country.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of founders and entrepreneurs who listen to the show, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people. That's why a lot of like these companies support this, because they know a lot of the founders or would-be founders are listening to this podcast. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Charles.
Ron.
Super, such an amazing episode. But before I let you go, follow us whatever podcast app you're listening to, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. And if you did say some comment section, Jan, okay, just give us some comments on what you think about this. And again, if you did say some jargon, it's gonna be in the hustleshare.com website, so you can check out the show notes and see what Charles was talking about. And dun lahat yan. Okay, don't worry about it. And lastly, if you want to support HustleShare doing content like this, please do subscribe and support us at premium.hustleshare.com. Again, Charles, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.